Good morning, y'all. Happy Thanksgiving. I know. And, I'm not going to toot my own horn because I may fall off the wagon, but I haven't drank in like a week. Yeah, we're going to keep going. Because I finally found a solution to my sleeping issue. But right now, because it's Thanksgiving, and I had called yesterday, asked my sister what kind of Thanksgiving we doing? Because we are weirdos, and yeah, some years we'll have prime ribs, sometimes we'll just do spaghetti, like big Italian thingy. So, or homemade pizza, or because you get sick of turkey every 3 weeks until 4th of July, and finally you get to have some fun food, right? So anyway, I am going to share with you my prized pumpkin pie recipe. Now, I make everything from scratch. Except this part, and this year I'm actually making from scratch, which is unusual, but I'm going to give you a little secret on how to do it. So, usually use one great big can of pumpkin. I got this turned down. I'm reducing because I'm making my own condensed milk. If you want the healthier version, this is how the healthier version is going to go. 1 cup of heavy cream, 2 tablespoons of butter, and then 3/4 of a cup of raw honey in a saucepan. Bring to a boil. Watch it constantly. It's going to bubble, but you need to turn it down on low so it doesn't stick and burn. For all you experienced people who know how to cook and pay attention and don't get all ADD and shit, you need condensed milk and you want a healthy version, this is how you do it. The other way, which is the way I did for years until I discovered keto and I started to modify all my ingredients and everything, was 1 big can of pumpkin, 1 can of condensed milk. That's the ratio. Do not follow the instructions on the package. Here's why. Your package recipe will be mushy. This recipe is got almost like a texture of a cheesecake without the tang of the cheese. It's really quite nice. So, and then I've got 3 small cans, so I had to accommodate and do the math in my head. But in a bowl, you're going to beat for one large can 2 eggs. You're going to beat them up. You're going to add your vanilla. I use like 2 tablespoons because I got 2 pies. I use a lot of vanilla. That's probably why it tastes so good. But I use a 1/2 teaspoon of apple pie spice, 1/2 teaspoon of pumpkin spice, 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a little extra. Mix that all up. Looks like this, kind of like baby diarrhea. And just hang on to it. My pie crust. That's a winger. Basically, I use really cold ass butter and flour. 1 for 1 if you've got a pie crust recipe. But the only thing I do different with the pie crust is I add an egg or 2, depending on how much flour I use. Because the butter has a tendency to separate and become, makes your pie crust greasy. If you add the egg, if you're using butter, not Crisco, and you don't have lard, because I don't know where the hell it went. I had a giant jar. I rendered the shit myself. I can't find it. This is what happens when you move and you move all your food with you, and then you're like, Where's my fat? Where the hell? You know, anywho. So, I use butter this time. You can do it with butter. And basically, you just got to be really, really cold. Make it exactly the same way. Get it to the oatmeal It's 3:30 in the morning. Forgive me. To the oatmeal consistency before you add your wet ingredients. Then you can crack your eggs in there, and then get about a cup of, a little less, probably about a quarter of a cup, or enough ice cold water. I have a water pitcher, filtered water pitcher in my refrigerator. And drizzle until it sticks all together. And then add a little bit more flour to get it to hold tight. It looks like a ball. And hold on, I'll show you what that looked like. Pie crust ball. Put in refrigerator because the butter will start to soften. You don't want that. Otherwise, you will have mushy, greasy pie crust. Yeah. Assembling, do it as you normally would if you know how to make pies. If you don't, you're going to have to follow along for part 2 because I'm still condensing this. We're trying to get it thick. Yeah, I know, my video kind of skills suck. So, but yeah, if you're trying to make a pumpkin pie, this is how you do it. We're going to rehash it because it's only about 7 minutes in. So, trying to make condensed milk because you want to do it the healthy way. I'm trying to keep this as healthy as possible. Even the flour that I bought is a product of Italy. Quite literally, it came from Italy. So it won't have all the crazy chemicals. So it's like ultra organic. And I use Kerrygold butter. That's pretty much a standard buy in this house. And the only thing that's, kind of grossly processed is the pumpkin because I didn't kill that and can it myself. So yeah, we bought Libby's. They're good. I like them. My mom actually, every year she gets like pumpkins for Halloween or whatever, and she carves them. Before they get all weird, she'll cut them down, boil them, reduce them, can them. Yeah, I didn't have time to play with that game this year. So, but yeah, this is I'm probably gonna be another 30 minutes stirring this to get it to reduce, because what I'm looking for, that's almost right, because it's dripping, kind of like dripping down the side of the pan a little bit. Every time I stir it, I hang this, boom. Yep, it's candying. Okay, we're good. And now we are going to let this sit and cool down. And while we let that sit and cool down, we are going to roll out the pie crust and get it in the tins. And once the pie crust is rolled out in the tins, then we're going to assemble the pumpkin, the condensed milk, the heated condensed milk, and the egg all together. But you got to put the egg in last. And the reason why you got to put the egg in last is because the milk is probably still going to be hot. And we got to temper it down with the pumpkin. Once we get it down to where it's not going to cook the egg, then we can mix in the egg, all the other ingredients. So that is, if you're wondering how to make condensed milk, that's how you do it. Making pumpkin pie, that's how you do it. pie crust, that's how you do it. So, I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to get the pie crust out. I'm going to get it rolled out, get it in the tins, get it ready to go. While I'm doing that, I'm going to preheat the oven. So that way it's quick. Because these take about, I don't know, anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour to cook. And then they got to cool before I take them down to my sister's. So we're going to get this started. And I don't care how long it takes, but I do mine at about 375. And then for the last 5 minutes, I'll beef it up to 400 if my crust looks a little blonde. So just get it started. There we go. Alrighty. I'll be back.